All right, so I want to talk about my own healing journey around codependency and getting out of it. Before I did any kind of work, my codependency got worse in some ways, like progressively worse. And in other ways, I actually learned to put up better boundaries. But I was trying to put up boundaries with people who are severely mentally ill. Not that I'm not. Listen, I've been in these relationships for a long time. I'm the common denominator. I have to deal with my own sickness, my own illness, my own this kind of thing. Hmm. So where does your codependency come from? So for some people, when they are looking at where's my codependency come from, am I codependent, these kind of things, we are resistant to it. Of course we are. We're the givers, we're not the takers, right? And we want to seem like we're tough. What is toughness to a codependent? Toughness to a codependent actually is not really expressing our emotions for most of us. For most codependents, toughness is hiding our emotions. But we're very emotional people, right? This is the irony of it. So we are not, it's not true. There are some codependents that are very stoic. But for me, I'm an emotional person. And so I wouldn't talk about my emotions or express them, but it would show on my face. I wear my heart on my sleeve. You could tell if I was pissed off or angry or hurt, but I would deny it. And in this way, I was avoiding conflict. I was avoiding things in my relationships. This is perfect for someone who's suffering from a personality disorder and wants their partner to be more compliant. I was your guy. I would still put up fights. I would still put my foot down. I would still do things like this. And I think that for me, it made me feel like I was less codependent than someone else. Codependents were like also on a spectrum. We're very varied. We're not all the same. Some codependents are very bossy. Some are very passive aggressive. Some are just doormats. Like we're all different kinds of people. But this is the main thing, is that what we do is we caretake and we obsess over the people who are important in our lives, whether that's a temporary importance or a long-term importance. A long-term importance can be employees, employers, people at your place of work. It could be close friends, family, and of course, your relationship. Now, it could also be temporary. Maybe you're helping somebody out, somebody to like get their stuff together. You're codependent if you don't ask for much from others. I don't need help. I don't need to be healed. I don't need anyone to help me. What are you talking about? I help you. When we're comfortable doing that, we're codependent. What we're doing, what we don't realize we're doing. I learned about this in the last few months. I really contemplated what the hell I was doing, because I would feel better by helping other people. Now, there's a way to feel better like this anyways, and that's good. But when it is your default, for me, it was my default. Right? I couldn't bring myself to help myself feel better, or to ask someone else for help, to say to someone like, hey, I'm really hurting. Can you help me? No way. Hell no. I hated it. I felt so weak. I felt shitty and worthless. And the people that we partner with, the personality disorder, they really prey on the side of us. Now, whether they're doing consciously or unconsciously, it doesn't matter. It just fits together nicely. It just fits together easily because we're trying to get our sense of self and our sense of good feelings about ourselves from helping and caretaking others. So when we're with someone who's really selfish and they are like, hey, my needs first. Hey, I have all these needs. Hey, my emotions are all over the place. Can you help me? I'm like, yeah, don't even ask. I'm already here. This was me. This is how I felt good. And it meant that when I'm alone, like right now, I'm alone in my thoughts, it can be really hard for me. It can be really, really tough for me if I'm going to get really honest about it. This is what I found out about myself. You tell me if it resonates for you too. We have projection and we have introjection. Projection is what we're doing outward. We're projecting in the relationship when we think we're with someone who is like, fixable, curable, helpable from us or through love or this kind of thing, or just a few months of therapy. This is our projection. Any of us who are around the abuse community, I don't know what to call it, on YouTube, on Reddit, we are like, hey, look at them projecting. And we want to say to our partners, current or ex-partners, hey, listen, you're projecting your parents onto me. You're not really angry at me. Hey, you're projecting this bad feeling you have, you're putting it on me. Stop projecting. But we get obsessed. Our friends tell us, hey, you should leave this person. This person is really bad. But we can't leave, right? We're like addicted to this. We need it. Oh my God. So we resist healing, and so do they. But the person we can heal the quickest and the easiest is ourselves. When we heal other people, we're not necessarily healing them. I mean, we're giving them some kind of temporary whatever, and then they're living their life. So we're further away from it. We're not in their life second by second, minute by minute, hour by hour. So even if we really help somebody out, they have to still do the walking and all the work themselves, right? I mean, even if we're being honest, and I don't mean helping out someone who's suffering from a severe mental illness, I'm talking about just, I don't know, like helping a friend or whatever. A friend goes, oh, thank you so much. You helped me get that job. It changed my life. Okay, yes. But they had to do the harder work themselves in order to continue on that path, in order to make sure that like things were amazing or great for them. So projection. We know that they're projecting onto us. We are introjecting. Introjecting is when you're taking someone else's opinions, thoughts, beliefs, belief system, and you are inhabiting it and it's becoming your own. And as codependents, we are amazing at introjection. I think it's part of the reason that we don't have so much like psychosis. Like we can be crazy and our reality gets distorted. If the people around us are projecting a lot and if their reality is really distorted, eventually we will get into whatever their reality is. And then our reality will become distorted. But that's why also as a codependent, like I could have a really distorted reality in my home life, right? With my girlfriend, I could have a really distorted home life, but I could go to work and it's not distorted because I'm still introjecting at work, but it's a more stable environment. Maybe my boss isn't toxic and things like that. So I'm not really being in psychosis. But if you're codependent and your workplace is crazy and your home life is crazy and then your whole world is, and you will be in psychosis. You will be like, what's up, what's down, huh? I don't get it. This is introjection. We do it so naturally. I would argue, in fact, that the codependent, our introjection machines are broken, out of service. We cannot stop introjecting. The narcissist, on the other hand, is like an amazingly well-greased, fine-tuned introjection machine where they're like, good news only, good news only. If there's bad news they're interjecting, their projection machine is now working. So I feel like the narcissist has a really well-oiled, well-greased, well-tuned introjection machine and projection machine. Okay, they're pretty incredible. I think their projection machine is very broken. They have a lot of control over their introjection, over what information they're going to take in, right? And so their world can be highly distorted and deranged, but they don't know it because they're not going to bring that in, or they're going to hide it. Their projection machine's pretty broken. I'm sure there's many times a narcissist, the mistake they made wasn't introjecting a bad thought about themselves. The problem was projecting out and screwing up a business deal, a friendship, a relationship, you know, something that they didn't want to fuck up. Their projection machine is broken. Us, on the other hand, our projection machine, of course, we still project. The fucked up part of our projection is that we think everyone is good heart, kind heart, this kind of thing. We have a really hard time painting someone black and being like, you know what, I should just leave this alone and get the fuck out of here. We're not very good at this. But in general, we don't project too much, right? We try to go, okay, yeah, okay, I can see both sides of the story. Okay. Of course we project, but it's not in the same way. We're not using it defensively. But we introject, we can't help it. We can't help it. What movie do you want to watch? I don't know. What movie do you want to watch? Well, what restaurant you want to go to? You want to get this, or this, or this? Oh my God. At least in my own codependency, I can have a really hard time making decisions. Like the more possibilities there are, the more anxiety I feel, the harder it gets. And the more I want to start calling people and asking for advice, including when I was in messed up relationships. Was this okay? What do you think I should do or say? No, like this kind of thing. For you, it's different. If I were to give you advice and you had 100 options, I could help you. But for me, I get into that another time. Here's how we self-soothe, okay? Check this out. Borderline and narcissists self-soothe with projection, right? They'll project out their negative self-feelings. So when they're feeling really bad about themselves, they project. Now, they might also look for something really sweet and tasty to introject. Love, sex, drugs, drama, I don't know, whatever, right? But they'll look for something else to introject. But generally their self-defense mechanism is to project, to take this awful feeling and put it onto you. As codependents, what do? I think this is what we do, because I've really thought about it. I think this is what I do. So I think we all do this, but maybe that's my projection. Let me know what you think. I think what we do is we introject someone else's sadness and pain. We find the loneliest person, we find the saddest person, the most broken person, and we introject their pain, right? Because we interpret it like, I feel their pain, right? You can't really feel someone's pain. Although studies have been done that show that people who kind of lean more left wing, we introject more, which means that, like, if I see someone getting hit, I'll light up in my mind that I'm getting hit too, right? Part of the brain will light up as if I was actually being hit. Whereas people who tend to be skew more right wing, their brain doesn't light up in the same way when that happens, right? So we have this, but I feel like as codependents, we have this like to an extreme. Hence we want to be like, I'm an empath. I feel everyone's feelings. Check this out though. We introject their sadness. So now I'm feeling the way that this person feels sad and all fucked up. But because I don't have to personalize their pain, I can work through it. So I heal them, I soothe them, it's gonna be okay. You're amazing, you're great. Yeah, I know you did that fucked up thing, but you know what? I accept you. You should always accept yourself. You can do anything you want. I totally believe in you. You're great and amazing. And as this happens, they start to feel better. And guess who else gets to feel better? I get to feel better too. And I start to, yes, and I'm just feeling so fucking good. And then by the time they're feeling good, I'm feeling good. And I feel so powerful. I feel strong. I feel full. And the most important thing is that I feel good again. Now, I can also feel drained. So it's not like, okay, now I'm energized and let's go do whatever, right? It can also be a really difficult process for me too. It could leave me also feeling drained. Well, then I can share in this enmeshed sadness with the person. So there's still another way to kind of soothe this way. But hear me out for a second. As codependents, we don't want people to help us. We want to run away from our own sadness and our own anger. We try to run away from it. We reject it because it was rejected when we were young. We weren't allowed to be angry or sad at home for one reason or another. It's too dangerous, or someone else is more sad and alone, or for me, I was cheering up my caregivers and everyone in the family. That was my job. That was not all of my job. I still got to be a kid, you know, it wasn't all just growing up so quickly, but that's what I did a lot of. So I was introjecting. I was introjecting someone else's pain and then healing them. And in that, I was healing my own mystery pain. Borderlines, narcissists, codependents, we all have this fucking mystery pain. We look inside of us. We can't access it. I don't know where the fuck it's coming from. What is it? I can't identify it. I don't know what I'm sad about. I just know that there's this hole inside of me. The borderline, hole inside of them. The narcissist, hole inside of them. And we all have these different defense mechanisms. Okay, and our introjection machine's broken. So introject your sadness. And then I think we're healing our inner child. But we don't know it's ours, right? We are all using things outside of ourselves to heal something inside of ourselves. So I'm using a borderline, or I'm using a narcissist, or I'm just using a drug addict or a broken person or someone who's just having a shitty day. I'm using them, I'm introjecting their feelings, I'm enmeshing myself with their feelings. As I bring them up, I bring myself up. And then we both feel good. I've healed my inner child pain. I don't feel like shit anymore. I feel good. and I get to walk off. And in my mind, in my conscious mind, I've just helped another person. But in my unconscious mind, I've been trying to find this little child who's broken and sad. And I just wanted to hold them and tell them everything's going to be okay. I love you. You're great. Isn't it sad? What a sad thing, right? As a codependent, you hate getting that kind of praise from people. It's really uncomfortable and awkward, isn't it? Yeah. But this is what I think we're doing. And as for the borderline, I think the borderline is in the middle and has kind of these nightmare situations where the borderline is like vacillating between being a codependent, like we're all codependents, of course, but being like a pure codependent or being like a pure narcissist or sociopath, right? It's just like they're vacillating back and forth. And I feel like for the borderline, their introjection machine is broken. They can't help but, introject all kinds of things they want to or don't want to, and their projection machine is also broken. I think it's part of the reason why the borderline doesn't want to be around you when you're all fucked up. They can't help but introject those feelings, and now they're feeling fucked up, but they don't have the same mechanism as we do. So for us as codependents, if we feel like our borderline or narcissistic partner is really fucked up, we jump up to save them as a superhero. So our defense mechanism is to heal the other person. So people aren't going to like run away and shame us for that. Generally, they might, but generally they won't because they're that fucked up. But the narcissist or the borderline's defense mechanism, when they start to introject shame from somebody else, is to what? Is to project and attack. So this is why you hear again and again and again from codependents, I took care of this person for like years and years and years. They had this illness, they had that illness. I gave them money. They cheated on me 5 times. I did everything I could. And finally, I got a really bad illness and they dumped me. My parent died, they dumped me. Whatever the hell it was. When I was feeling shame, they had to get rid of me because their introjection machine is just broken, So that's what I think is happening. You guys let me know if you think that's happening too, but I think this is what is happening with us. We have this fucking mystery pain. When I'm talking to the camera right now and I'm saying, oh, I love you, like you're amazing, you're so great, I can feel already this almost this high. It's insane. But to do it to myself is like very awkward. Really, I feel shameful. It feels weird. Okay. This is why I think we go after the borderline or the narcissist. We think they're targeting us. Man, we're targeting them too. We're seeing this broken person and we're going, oh my God. I could take someone from the very, very basement and I could lift them up. Because my sadness is hidden, it's a mystery, it's in the basement, and I want to lift that up. That's why we feel so fucking betrayed by the borderlines, because we expect them to do it back to us. The narcissists, we expect them to do it back to us. But eventually they're not going to. They're far more, I want to say selfish, but we're selfish too in our codependency because we want them to be broken so we can fix ourselves, right? So we're selfish too, but it is the kind of thing where we focus more and more and more and more and more on them and their troubles. Whereas at least in the beginning with the love bombing, it felt a lot more equal, right? Like we were both getting something. But as a codependent, I mean, we say we want a 50-50, but we don't really. We feel a lot more comfortable if it's like 80-20, 70-30, something like this. Like this kind of like, I give you 70, you give me 30. The codependent is far more secure in that situation. So this is just what I wanted to talk about. I was thinking about introjection, like what the hell is going on in this dynamic? Why is it so attractive to be with somebody like that? And I think too, like when we're with someone who's a little healthier, or maybe someone who's another like pure codependent, it's really tough for us. I know I've had that in relationships where I'm like, oh, I don't really have a role here. Like, I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to do. And eventually that healthier person is going to see how I'm broken. And I'm so ashamed of showing them that side of myself that I would much prefer to be with someone who is struggling in my mind more than me. But who on the same token cannot heal me and has almost no interest once the dopamine dream of the love bomb is gone. Like once that's gone, this person has almost no interest in keeping me together. And I think one of the hardest things within that abusive dynamic is that it's like, if you as a codependent, if you get too strong, they're going to knock you down because you might leave them. right? It triggers their abandonment when you're too strong. But when you're too weak, bye-bye, you can't protect me and help me. And we know this on some level. But we don't understand what the hell we're doing there. And I think what we're doing, at least I think what I was doing, is that, you know, all of us talk about we want this love bombing back. So many people talk about that. I think, at least for me personally, it wasn't about the love bomb. I think it was really about the caretaking. And that was my favorite thing. Like that was like the best part. And I think even I felt like that at the beginning, because even in the beginning, when you are the one or the greatest person, you get the sense like, not only are we like destiny, but like I'm fixing you like no one else could fix you before. And I think that that's the real hook of the love bomb for us who are codependent. You know, like, look, borderlines get together with narcissists, narcissists get together with narcissists. I think their section and their part of the love bombing and what they like about it is slightly different than what we like about it, right? Like, anyways, those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think. Do you think that you are also interjecting? Do you think your interjection machine is broken, or is it just me? Let me know.